And we are live. Hi, I'm John Celestri, John the animator, and thanks for showing up here. I don't know how many people we have. We have one. If you, as you come in, be part of the chat. We'll listen into what we're doing, and then Robert and we will be talking, and you can ask questions, and we can probably get some we'll take some questions and answers later on. But anyway, I'm John Celestri, John the animator, and I've been a professional animator, a creator of comic books and such since 1975. So I've been around for a while. I've done a lot of work on Batman. I've done animated Boba Fett in the Star Wars Holiday Special, on Rock and Roll, He-Man and She-Ra, and Dragon's Lair and Space Ace. So I've had a fair amount of experience in doing this work, and I'm starting my own. Well, I've got a Kickstarter that's launched today. It's the Bloodwing Angel Chronicles. But we will get into that later as we go along. But I want to introduce my guest tonight, and that's Robert Geronimo. Hello, Robert.
Good to be back.
Yes,
it's been a long time.
It's been a while. It's been quite a while. Yes, it has.
Yeah. I was happy when you reached out to me. I was like, I haven't spoken to John in a while.
Yeah, well, after a while, we're all doing the same circuit, aren't we?
We really are.
It's kind of like show business. It's vaudeville. There you go. Where's your act? Have you got a new 5 minutes?
Let me juggle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes. So anyway, tell me about your what you've got right now. You've got an in-demand project right now.
Right. Yes, I have an in-demand project called Wirehead. It's a slasher graphic novel, black and white. Fortunately, we're fully funded. We just unlocked our second stretch goal, so we broke 11,000. So now everyone's going to get a digital soundtrack to accompany the book. So a little bit more immersive now as you're reading the book. You could feel like the strings and the soundtrack going. So I'm excited.
There you go. Okay, great. Well, let's see. So let's see. So that we're talking about horror.
Right.
All right. Now, you're a slasher physical type of guy, right?
Right. And I also do Blood Realm too, which is dark fantasy horror as well. So it's like I'm hitting two different types of horror. But I would say physical and elements of psychological with Blood Realm.
Okay. All right. And with for me, I'm going to be talking about the with Bloodwing Angel Chronicles. It's more of a psychological in the same way that Edgar Allan Poe had horror. It's a realization horror. It's, for me, it is the realization of you've been betrayed, and you're in some kind of a terrible situation that you can't get out of. You're banished to something. Betrayal can be an incredible psychological horror because you trusted somebody and you've put all your trust in it, and suddenly, wow, there you go. So how about we put since you're the guest, you get to look at, we'll run your video.
Oh, okay.
First. We'll do that because that will give everybody an understanding of what we are doing and what kind of styles of comics we're talking about.
Sure.
How's that?
That sounds great.
Okay. So let's let me put this on, and then you can.
Okay. Start. So just before I started, it's about a cybernetic creature that wreaks havoc on unsuspecting teens in the Pocono Mountains. Very much a Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers vibe, but there is World War II history involved because the creator of Wirehead is a Japanese scientist who's given immunity in the United States from World War II. And he continues his research and he creates Wirehead. And eventually this creature is unleashed into the Pocono Mountains in the 90s. So,
Mhm.
okay, so I guess I'll start the video.
Get started. Yeah. Is your sound on?
Can you hear it?
No.
I think you have to. Okay, let's see. If the sound is not working, that might be on. Let me see. Let's switch it out. Okay, so oh, that's right. I have to share audio. Oh, I hate that it does that every time. Okay, try it now. It should work now.
All right, let's try it again.
It's gonna work now. Yeah. You got it?
Yeah, it's on here. Okay.
You hear it?
There you go.
Something is lurking in the Pocono Mountains, and it's coming for you. No one knows where it came from, or who it will get next. Wirehead. This October comes a new tale in fantasy terror.
Ooh, buffering.
Wirehead. Pre-order now on Indiegogo.
Dun dun dun.
Okay. We'll
Yeah.
set that aside here. So there you go. We now have what Mr. Geronimo is feeling like. There you go. You know, very much slasher physical stuff, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go in the opposite end of the horror spectrum, and
Hmm.
there's also there are elements. Well, let's play because you haven't seen this, so I'm going to go right at it, and I'm using my video because I don't have the facilities that you do. I have to
Mhm.
share my video that I have up on my at home. It's not. This is not the video. It's the same video that's on the Kickstarter, but it's a video file. I'm not
Okay.
sharing uh, a screen or anything of that. So
Gotcha.
let me start this up, and it should start immediately. Whoop. No, stop.
There it is.
No, there you go. Stop here.
What happened?
Well, I had closed down. I had shut it down first. Let me start all over again, okay? Come on. Ah,
What's the matter?
that's okay. This is called getting used to everything. Okay, I've got to. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it.
Well, what are you trying to do?
Well, what's happened is that it keeps stopping and starting, and the sound doesn't go. So,
Well, I think because you're still sharing it, so there might be like a buffering or a delay.
no, I'm gonna
No?
try this one more time here.
Okay. Stick with us, folks. Here we go.
Bloodwing Angel Chronicles. The adventures of Michael, an innocent angel who is unjustly banished to the mortal realm and battles to survive amongst demons, sinners, and living dead.
Mm.
Okay, there you
So
go.
Michael, that was Michael with the red hair.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's a girl.
it's both.
Oh, got you.
It's both. Here's the difference. Angels No, I don't know. I grew up Catholic. Angels are
Same.
both male and female. They are
Oh, okay.
undetermined sex. You don't have, male angels and female angels. They're all the same. You don't, since they're not bodies, they are ethereal beings.
Right.
And so when Michael is banished to the mortal realm, he is changed into a semi-mortal,
Mm.
and so therefore takes on both character. They are both male and female.
Interesting.
So, and that becomes the thing of my character is as I said, it's both male and female, but the problem here is that the character has been tossed out of heaven, and it becomes a pawn between God and Satan. And
Okay.
so it's like the Book of Job. It's played with, this one character is saying, okay, what's the game here?
Right.
On.
So they just basically give Michael a lot of stress, just like they did with Job.
Yep, absolutely. You know it.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And throughout the world, as now, I don't know if you grew up Catholic.
I did.
Okay, guardian angels.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what sex were they?
Guardian angels?
Yeah. What? I mean, like any kind of angel, you can't tell. They just have beautiful creatures.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going from the statues. You see Michael the Archangel.
Statues. That's medieval time. If you go to the paintings,
Right.
they were all creatures.
The paintings.
If you go to medieval paintings, you'll see, seraphim. You get the cherubim, seraphim,
Right.
the wheels.
The wheels, right?
The
I've seen
wheels.
the wheels.
You've got the six-legged, double-headed angels.
Right.
With wings, with multiple wings, and then eyes all over their wings. You got all kinds of stuff going on.
Right. It's true.
So archangels are on the lower level of angel ranks. So,
and our guardian is the highest.
No, guardian. Guardian angels were made up by Catholics.
Okay, so the archangels, though, so they're the janitors, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, messenger. The archangels. It's kind of like the archangels are. They are centurions.
Okay.
Michael, was guarding the gates of heaven with his flaming sword.
Right.
Okay. So
does Lucifer was what?
Lucifer was the most beautiful of all the angels.
And what tier was he in the caste system of angels?
Top.
So what were they called in the top?
Well, I don't know. The Catholics haven't come around yet by that. That's a whole different genre as to what. But between in the Old Testament, again, predates the Catholicism. Or Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about the Old Testament, and so therefore it was just the Lucifer was the one who said, I can be as powerful as God and try to take over. So he took a third of the legions of the angels followed him.
Right, the rebellion. Right,
and had the rebellion, and they were cast out.
It's pretty epic.
You've got some pretty heavy duty stuff
awesome.
to work with. I do, at least. There's a lot that I can work with, and Bloodwing Michael is Mychal.
Okay,
and that's sort of a male and female name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Michael is the one who is youngest of all the angels, and so they're going to that person is the most innocent of all the angels, and just so there's the horror that goes into that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
The horror is that Michael's banished.
is banished and has to deal with all of the world that has changed, because when the aspect that people understand, even in this world that is banished to, when Michael has been thrown out and across the universe, as the character zips across, is being hurled across the universe, it tears the fabric of the universe, because the promise to Michael that he has been, that as long as he obeyed Creatus, he would never always be safe. But because he'd been tossed out, even though he's done nothing wrong.
Creatus?
Creatus. I use it. Creatus and Shadow. Those are the two characters who are the gods.
Okay.
Creatus is the eye that that all the angels are singing around.
Okay.
And Shadow is
Satan. Gotcha.
So Creatus tosses Michael out, goes across the universe and rips it apart, rips apart the fabric of the universe, but only momentarily. But then it's restitched, but in a different way.
So he cast them out. Why?
To play the game.
To play the game. Okay, gotcha.
It's all there. in episode 2 is all part of the book. It's all part of the story.
Gotcha.
So it's there, which is why. But for me, just to talk about the horror, is a character is in horror. In many ways, it's the interior, dealings, and then also all the demons and whatnot, and the people that Michael has to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Right. That sounds interesting.
Yep. So let's see.
What made you go this change with the artwork and the art direction? Because it's very different from your other project.
But that's the way I draw.
No, I mean subject matter wise.
Subject matter wise, well,
because you want to do children's stuff, and then now you want to do more like mature comics.
Well, I've done in my animation career, I've done both.
Oh yeah, I know. No, of course. I mean, was there something, because your previous project was the Moose one,
right?
Huh?
It was for the prior to that was Snuffy and Zoe.
That's it, right?
And then Mega Moose.
And
so now Bloodwing actually completes the whole family package, because this is well, let's put it this way. In terms of where the comic book industry is right now, it's basically adults buying everything.
Mm-hmm.
And children do not have credit cards to go and romp around Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Gotcha.
So they can't do it for themselves. So therefore, I felt that by having something that adults would be interested in,
mm-hmm.
they would then say, "Oh, what else is there? Is there something for my kid?"
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, I mean, Snuffy and Zoe and Mega Moose are still, I still have them in demand on Indiegogo. This is the Kickstarter. And hopefully this Kickstarter will be successful, and then I can then do an Indiegogo campaign for this show, for this book.
What's your goal for the Kickstarter?
Kickstarter's 1,000.
Oh, okay. I think you'll hit that for sure.
Yeah. Well, don't take anything for granted.
Right.
I mean, people are, that's, I managed to fund both Indiegogo and Kickstarter campaigns last year with Snuffy and Zoe and with Mega Moose, but it wasn't the same as what I thought it would be. You
Right.
know, I still managed to do it, but I thought, okay, I need to have some other element, but also allows me to flex my muscles.
Which this project?
Doing Indiegogo,
Oh, doing Indiegogo. Okay.
doing Bloodwing allows me to flex my muscles.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm not just doing kids stuff.
right. Well, that's what I was curious about. The reason I was asking is because I used to do children's books and now I'm doing horror. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if that's why I was curious. I wanted to pick your brain about that.
Well, it allows me to do everything,
Hmm.
you know, and so I don't need to worry about that. You know, I'm not going to stay in one thing.
Right.
So let's see. I got. Do you see any of these? Let's see. We've got to. Let me just do some question. I'll just show here.
Comments?
Let's see. We've got Sketchosaurus.
Hey, Sketchosaur, how's it going?
You know him?
Oh, yes. It's awesome. I was
Okay.
actually just reading his email again. I have to reply to him.
Okay. Well, are you liking Robert's channel or my channel here?
I think he means you.
You, yes. Just some guy introduced me to him. Yeah, great. Well, thanks for checking out. There's a lot of videos, animation wise and comic book wise.
Mm.
So thanks, Sketch. Let's see. Ivan Sanchez sounds interesting.
I think that was with the wire head. Thank
Yeah.
you. I really appreciate it.
Looks cool. Ivan and
That's
Bandit.
cool.
That
Thank
looks
you, Bandito.
cool. And
Thank you, Bandito.
Yep.
There
Oh,
you go.
there you
That's
go.
why we're having difficulties with the sound.
Yep, that's right. It's interesting. Never heard of angels like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. So therefore, it's something new for comic books. You know, the material of at least we are going. I'm going in a direction that isn't your usual, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Ivan Sanchez, it's like you started. Okay, it's like a stage where you started with kids, later with teens, and finally with adults. Kind of like
Mm.
our text.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I love his work.
Okay. And then Sketchosaurus says both.
Oh,
Talking
awesome.
about both of our channels.
Thank you, Sketch. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Okay, well, so Robert,
Yes.
tell me what it is. What do you think of what's your idea of what horror is for you? What do you prefer?
What do I prefer? I suppose that's tough because I do prefer horror that feels like it could happen, you know, in terms of like a situation.
Mhm.
Whether it be fantasy or slasher, you know, when it's a situation where, you know, you could see yourself in that particular moment and the characters don't do things that are too outlandish and too ridiculous that you're like, come on, no one would react that way.
Mhm.
I think that drives it home a little bit more because you
Okay.
place yourself there. You know, it's like when you watch certain films, like for instance, The Mist. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I love the
Yep.
film The Mist,
Yep.
and a great script and direction by Frank Darabont. But I feel like you can identify with each of the characters in
Mhm.
that film who are locked in that little supermarket.
Mhm.
And sometimes you can say, "Oh, you know what? All right, look, I've got a good handle on these characters. I would be that guy." And
Mhm.
eventually that guy would die. Be like, "Wow, I guess I wouldn't have made it."
Yeah, right.
So that's the kind of I love that kind of horror, and I also love horror in visual and mood.
Mhm.
You know, so with Blood Realm, yes, there's some violence, you know, but it's the setting. You know, I
Mhm.
really strive to make the horror and the gothic feeling of the world make you feel small.
Mhm.
So it's almost like that instance when you look up at one of those Gothic churches. It's magnificent, it's beautiful, but there's also something almost frightening at the same time with the way the flying buttresses stick out, almost looks skeletal, you
Hmm.
know, and you look up and you could see the innards of this
Right.
cathedral. That
Right.
is just by the miracle of God that this thing is standing.
And, yep.
So that's another type of horror that I like to do, you know, specifically with Blood Realm.
Okay. All right. Well, we're in terms of when you decided for Wirehead, you decided you didn't draw it yourself.
Right. Right.
Okay. Why?
Well, two reasons. The
Okay.
first one was that I was too swamped with Blood Realm, and I knew that I'd probably have a nervous breakdown if I tried to take on another project. Number two, I really liked Michael's style, and I thought that because these characters are drawn in this almost Archie looking way, it would kind of enhance the horror. Because so this way when the violence of the action does happen, it feels that much more jarring. You know, it's
Mhm.
like when you see violence in a cartoon. It comes out of nowhere and you're sitting there like, "Wait a minute, this is animated. This shouldn't." But
Mhm.
it just hits harder, especially like with manga and stuff like that or
Right.
anime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's mainly one of the reasons, really. Aside from like I just couldn't take any more on, but
Mm.
I feel like his visual style really suit the style, the story more.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Well, when you were asking me why I decided to go with this more with my particular style, it really is. I find it funny. It it depends on for me what I'm ratcheting up.
Mhm,
You know, when I'm ratcheting down and doing cutesy stuff, well, that's all very formulative. Like I've got really soft and wide-eyed and all kinds of
yeah,
different things going on there. When I went to a slightly older, I started to, get away from the foreheads high and
mhm.
start growing them a bit. Okay. Well, basically, that's what you're seeing.
Right,
That was the approach there. So it's still basically a hand is still doing what I'm doing.
sure.
Then I go to with Bloodwing. That is much more of an animation style. That's more of what it's not quite rock and roll.
Mhm,
It's more like a Disney-esque style of animation. There's a lot more straights and bent against curves,
mhm,
and doing more caricatured adults.
mhm.
And also making things a bit weirder.
Yeah,
There are some things that I'm doing with one or two of the characters, like there's a 6-year-old child that later that I introduce, that you don't see any eyes. The eyes are just stars, or they are sort of asterisks.
mhm.
So it's not a communicative child, but yet when there's some kind of interior emotion, the eyes change colors, and the asterisk turns into skulls. They do. There's a lot different. It's more like Dick Tracy. It's a Dick Tracy sense of design, which was
Gotcha.
there's a strangeness to it, and it's a graphicness to it, but yet there's still an animation element. It's cartoon. It's not
Mhm.
illustration. I am not an illustrator.
You're
Yeah.
not? Oh, okay. Alright, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yes.
don't draw realistic characters.
Right. I mean, you could argue that illustration isn't always about realistic, though.
No, but what I mean when you look at so much of what comic books are today, and
Mhm.
what they were in the 50s and 60s, the superhero stuff, it is all pretty much
Oh, superhero stuff, yeah.
superhero stuff. It's all realism.
Right.
As much as close to photography as you can get.
Yeah, with certain books, yeah. But
Yeah, but they're still, even if they take a step back from that, it's still very close to that. It's not cartoon,
mm,
as what I've seen. I mean, I can't vouch for all 500, titles a month, but
right.
basically, that's what I think of. So, but when you're doing horror, and I know that it goes when you're playing against a style, perceived style, then that has more impact.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I think that's the stylistic. That's why I went with Michael, because I felt that it just punctuated the violence a little bit more.
Okay. What about the story?
The story. Okay, in terms of
Well, in terms of the horror, I mean, the aspect. How did you structure your story? Because it's an 80 page.
now it's 100. Yeah,
Oh, it's 100 now. Okay.
because we unlocked
Okay.
one of the stretch goals was bumping it up. So
Oh, okay. But in terms of story wise, okay,
mhm.
how did you structure it? In terms of getting all the information that you wanted to and pacing it.
Mm.
You know.
Well, I definitely needed to give myself a page constraint because I like constraints. That's
Hmm.
why Blood Realm is always 3 issues per miniseries.
Hmm.
This is technically 3 issues, but obviously, but the length, it comes to one big graphic novel for
Hmm.
Wirehead, because it forces me to tell a concise story.
Hmm.
Because if I have unlimited page length, mentally, that just kind of makes me trail things too long. I like concise stories that tell a complete story.
Right. Yes.
So I consider each, even Blood Realm and with Wirehead, I break things down into acts.
Hmm.
So issue 1 is act 1, which is like the origin. We introduce the characters, we get a sense of what this character's that the enemy or the antagonist is capable of.
Hmm.
And then when we get to issue 2 in act 2, that's when we ramp things up.
Hmm.
The excitement really starts to pick up, and then it's kind of like you're all a lost moment. And
Hmm.
then issue 3, we have characters kind of rising above the circumstances they were faced in act 2,
Hmm.
and then the resolution, and of course we have to have some wild final battle at the end. So
Hmm.
so yeah, that's and then of course you put the little elements that, like I said, with World War II and the Japanese scientists. So I
Hmm.
wanted to have that element. It's very important to Wirehead.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So once again, you're going to see how this goes with Wirehead, whether or not it warrants a sequel of some kind, right? Or is this just a one and done for you?
This is a one and done. But if there are people, if there's enough, if the
Here's
fans are real,
Jason. Jason's what? Jason, 53, right?
right. If they want it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I for the first outing, you're going to
Uh-huh.
get a complete one and done story,
Okay.
because I think there's a lot of stuff where they want to tell these big long epics, and then I feel people need more concise stuff,
Right.
especially in crowdfunders.
Right. Well, can you, there's a difference, I think, between um, just trailing people, but having a big story, but telling it in a concise manner.
Hmm.
For example, to me, if you are trail, if I look at each comic book page as you would a daily or an old time,
Right, comic news strip.
which were, and they were in the days when they had the space. Okay, compressed as storytelling, it gets to the point where you can't even tell a story anymore
Hmm.
in comic books, rather in comic strips. In the old days, you had 6 panels to go across. You could tell a nice story, with 6 panels.
I mean, when you look at Little Nemo, he had the whole page.
Well, yeah, the whole page, but that wasn't much of a story. I'm talking. You look at say the old Dick Tracy or the stories when there was a lot to tell.
Hmm.
You could you had the equivalent of a page a day. If you had 6 panels, that's a six that's 6 panels. That's a comic book page, basically. And I feel that if you have a beginning, middle, and end to your page, making the person the read, want to go turn the page to the next one, you've succeeded.
Oh,
And as
sure.
long as you can keep on, that's the turn. That's the whole. The very definition of a page to a turner is that they continually want to turn that page and you reach the end of point where you have to leave the reader at a particular point of saying, I gotta know more, which is what all of a basic writing is. I mean, what is it? Jeez. A Christmas Carol, the author.
Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens. That's what he did. But they were serials. It was a chapter every week or every month or what have you. You had to go back.
Yeah.
It wasn't a finished. So those things were only gathered up at the end, and then published. But they were all serialized things. So you want to go back and as long as you can have your crowdfunder supporters believe and trust that you're going to keep them entertained with the next one as well as what they've just supported. Then I think you could keep going for quite a while. You do have, stretching out a story is silly. I mean, I do not believe in that. I mean, decompressed storytelling is a waste for me. It's not storytelling at all. It's just milking.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I'm just what I'm saying is that you can do, if you are telling a story, you can reach a certain point and the character hasn't resolved the big arc yet, but you can at least satisfy certain arcs.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's to me that's the big thing.
Yeah, even with Blood Realm, each volume, even though they're told in 3 issues, I make sure each one is its own story. But it's a smaller. But believe it or not, they're each smaller stories in this bigger epic that spans 6 volumes. But if someone came in and grabbed volume 2, it will be its own complete story.
Right.
So that's how I try to treat each volume of Blood Realm. But there is a bigger, grander, direction.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. I wrote mine as a novella first, and so
Bloodwing.
Yeah, I published that as an ebook, as a novella, back in 2013.
Gotcha.
And it was the realization, I came to the end of that novella and said, okay, from this point on, Michael will do something else, or we'll see how it develops. But the whole idea was when I decided to turn it into a comic book, it was not a 24-page story. It wasn't a 48-page story. It had to be extended, just to be able to do things. Otherwise, it's just a point A, B. You get the families that you got to develop and you flesh out. So there are many characters that need to be, followed through, and they all have their own story. So, it's more of TV than anything else.
Right. No, it's all similar writing. It's their episodes.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Let me see here. Ivan Sanchez, since Robert mentions about the visuals of horror, if he have seen Primal, I recommend the episode The Night Feeder. The way they did the episode was terrifying by making a dinosaur into a slasher.
Oh, I'm all about it. I'll check it out, Ivan. That sounds great. I watched the first episode. It was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let's see. Now, what are you planning to do next? Besides, you always got to be doing something else,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. I don't know why I give myself more projects, but I guess that's just the torturous love, of an artist with its craft. It's just
Right. Yeah.
put yourself through more hell. That's what it is. It's funny. It feels like hell while you're in it, but then when you're out, you're like, "Oh, it wasn't so bad." But then, like, I could do another trip down to hell, and then you're just like, "Oh God, why am I here again in the ninth circle?"
Wait, okay. So tell me, what is it that is horrific about the process?
It is the I find it just my brain just doesn't stop. I'm constantly thinking about my project every 2 seconds. I'm thinking
Mm,
about story developments. I'm thinking about it's different with Wirehead because I'm not drawing it, which
okay.
I think is wonderful. I'm talking about
Mhm,
Bloodroom specifically because I letter, write,
mhm,
color, draw that whole project, and I
okay.
have to make sure all the pieces still fit into the overarching plot.
Mhm,
So,
right,
and just the layouts, the thumbnails, the character developments,
right.
you almost feel like a director of a film
Mhm,
because
you
you
are.
have yeah, you have to keep all of these things, all the shots there, the cinematography, is the script right? Is
Yeah.
the costume design right? Are these characters acting well enough? I don't get the expressions from them in this scene. So you know what it is? So it really is like you're directing a little mini film,
Mhm,
especially
yeah,
when you're doing everything.
right.
But at the same time, I love it. Even though I lose sleep over it, I still love it.
Okay, I would lose more sleep over having to answer to somebody else.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't wanna answer to somebody else. I'm just
Okay,
saying, no matter what, it's
right.
still it's still a torturous love affair.
Yeah, I don't really get, maybe I'm just older than you are. I don't get I'm not, I've gone past that point of worrying about that, okay? I
Mm.
don't sleep. I mean, I get anxious about, "Okay, I'm gonna launch this thing," or, "I'm getting ready to do something," but I don't, I know that I can only do so much, and then I put it aside.
It's not that, it's that my brain doesn't allow me to stop thinking creatively.
Okay.
It's like once I turn the button on,
Yeah.
I wake up in the middle of the night and I come up with story ideas. It's just I'll be outside taking a walk, and next thing you know, my brain will constantly go off and think about some ideas. But
Okay.
it's only when once I jumpstart this thing,
Mhm.
like once I start a mini series, it's
Mhm.
almost like all the switches are on. Like, all right, we're at full speed ahead.
Oh,
But when
interesting.
when the volume's done, when the
Mhm.
issue's done, it's like now I don't think like that. It's like Miyazaki. Now, you obviously know Miyazaki,
Mhm.
uh, Spirited Away, and all those films. Um, there's a great interview where he said, I forgot exactly what the words are, but he said making a film is it's brutal. It's whatever he said, but he goes and he's like, why do I want to make another one? Yet I still have this desire to make another one.
It's interesting because I look at it from the point of view of I have to do this. Okay.
I do too.
Okay. I, yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah. I have to do this, but I also understand, for me at least, I guess, okay, there's a difference. When I was about your age, young man, uh, I remember how I lived and dreamed. And I mean, when I was doing rock and roll, I I lived and breathed that thing.
Mhm.
I was I was trying, but it was the thing that I felt that it was really going to make me or break me as an animator. If I couldn't get across those characters,
Right.
um, it was something that I had never experienced. I never experienced that high of
Mhm.
having to create those kinds of characters before.
Right.
And then as time has gone by, I've done a number of other things, and I know what how to pace myself, or I don't worry about not coming up with the idea again. Like I don't know how you write, but mine is basically I get a Post-it note and I say, I have an idea. Take that Post-it note and slap it on a piece of paper. Take another idea and put it on top of that. And I
Right.
keep on gathering up my Post-it notes.
Mhm.
Then I start seeing, what am I what's my idea all about? And what is the ending of this? What's the conclusion that I want to come up with? And then I put that down. And it's just a continual molding process
Oh yeah.
until I come up with something. But I don't worry about sometimes if I have an idea or I have a problem to solve, and I've worked as hard as I can, invariably, I don't wake up in the middle of the night with it. I wake up the following morning with at least a better idea or a development of what I allowed my interiors to work, and I don't.
At least they
don't-
let you sleep.
Yeah, I sleep. That's what I'm
They
saying.
don't let me sleep. My interiors go, wake up now and write this down.
Oh, geez. Is there some kind of creative hormone that some people have more of and less of, or is it a combination? I mean, you got, but everybody works differently.
Everyone works differently.
Yeah.
It's true.
That-
It could be I don't know. Maybe I just love it so much that I can't stop thinking about it. That's what it
Oh,
is.
geez. I don't love that much.
Oh,
Hey, listen, I learned how to kill my little darlings.
you have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. That's
Gotta kill your darlings in your stories.
Oh yeah, you have to get rid of if they don't advance the plot, if they're just taking up space, if they're just there, you're trying to shoehorn it, which is what usually the not bean counters, but the suits do. They come up with an idea that they got to get into a movie or in a book, and they force you to do it, and then it ruins the book or the
Oh.
movie.
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous. We've seen that enough in a lot of franchises.
Yes. Let's see here. Ivan is asking questions. Yes.
Mm.
He says, always interesting, the plot and character development, very important. Without that, you've got nothing.
Hmm.
You can have a very interesting combination of pinups, and then there's nothing. Right?
Absolutely.
Let's see here. By money, I could do anything. Yes. As he says, as long as that someone is inspired and motivated, they can do anything. Yes, it's true.
Completely.
Yep. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a good one.
Oh, I come
It
see.
says you can sleep when you're dead. No artist finished with their work. They just give up on it.
Well done. He understands my plight.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot that we've seen movies based on books. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, I understand that. I don't want my work to be the death of me.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, that's it. I think that if you can I get energized by being in the zone.
Oh yeah.
And that's a big thing that people don't seem to understand. And you work yourself into that zone. It doesn't just happen.
I got to ease into it. I do it with music mostly.
Oh, okay. At what point when do you bring in? I'll quote somebody else, but do you always have something else to help you, or are you in quiet? Any point?
Do I have someone to help me?
No. What do you have? Some other outside thing like music or what have you? Do you always bring something else in to get yourself going, or is there sometimes when you you have to have absolute quiet?
I have to have absolute quiet when I'm working, or especially writing. I can't really listen to anything when I'm writing. I need to have silence.
Right.
But if I'm trying to get in the zone to draw and and get motivated, I'll listen to music. And sometimes while I'm working, I'll put on podcasts or
Mhm.
film. I'll
Right.
rewatch Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit for the 10 millionth time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, lately, I don't know if you've ever seen this, John. I've just watched the Dante's Inferno animated film.
No.
It is wild. I mean, you want to talk about mature animated stuff? Because I know you
Okay.
know because of the stuff you've been drawing and everything.
Yep.
So they had, I think, 6 different uh, artists and directors
Okay.
take a different part of the story and illustrate it. You actually could see it for free on YouTube. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, because I actually bought the Blu-ray because I wanted to support it. I enjoyed it so much.
when did it come out?
I think it came out in 2011 or 10,
Hmm.
and the visuals are stunning. And it's so cool to see these different styles and their interpretations of the Rings of Hell.
Mhm.
So lately, I've just been putting that on in the background because the different uh, styles of animation for each section and how they interpret Dante, because they changed the story a bit. They make him a crusader who has to go save Beatrice and all that. So they changed the story, but
Mm.
he fights all these demons and devils, and I think you would really be into it, especially with the story that you got going on.
Okay. Okay. So it's just Dante's Inferno animation style, right?
Yeah, it's Dante's Inferno, an animated epic. That's what it's
Okay.
called.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who's still out there, do it. Take a look at that too. Well, I don't. When I'm writing, I just can't have anything around me. You
When
know,
you're writing, yeah, I'm the
when I'm
same way.
writing, I can't do anything at all. When I'm animating and I'm planning, no, I can't have anything,
Mm,
any noise. The only thing that I will listen to is the soundtrack of the scene that I'm animating.
yeah.
So I have to do that. What I was going to say is, to quote Milt Kahl. Milt Kahl is the second greatest animator at Disney. The first greatest animator was Bill Tytler, who did Night on Bald Mountain, Grumpy in the Snow White, a Dopey, Dumbo, and Stromboli. But Milt Kahl
Stromboli,
designed.
I hated that guy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Had nightmares of Stromboli my whole life.
Interesting. That was the first character I ever saw as a child in the first movie that my dad ever took. I think I must have been maybe about 4 years old, three and a half, 4 years old, and he
Kinda
took me to the
messed me up.
movie to Pinocchio, and I didn't understand what a movie theater was, and he just explained it was a big room and it's very dark, and then there's a screen up there, and there's a picture up there, and I said, hold on. So, but there was this guy, and he was just up there going, that's Stromboli.
Yeah.
So anyway, Milt Kahl said, and he did Shere Khan in the animation of oh, what is it?
Lion King? Oh, no,
No,
Tarzan, Jungle Book, Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. Shere Khan. He actually designed Pinocchio. Everywhere around it's his work is there at Disney. Anyway, he said, I said, when Dick Williams, who did who directed the Roger Rabbit animation. Dick Williams was another guy in the 1960s, and he was gathering up all these old animators. He came up to Milt Kahl and he says, what kind of music do you listening to? Do you listen to or whatnot when you're to get you in the mood?" And Milt Kahl says, he was known. Eric Milt was known for cursing and swearing all over the place. He said, "I can't do it. I'm not intelligent to do more than one thing at a time. I can
Mm.
only focus on one thing." And
Oh,
that's the thing with me. I just can't do. When I have to focus. That's the thing that I can do. I can
mhm.
write, or I can analyze.
Right.
I start drawing. Sometimes I don't need anything.
Mm.
I just know that I have to do stuff, and I just keep on going into it. And sometimes it's a distraction to listen, to podcasts or to jazz is the closest thing.
Mm.
That I'll have some jazz going on.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, jazz
Yeah.
work.
Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Yeah. I probably hear music when working. I'm listening to Kid Cosmic soundtrack.
I'll check it out. That sounds cool.
Okay. And I guess that the
The
Dante's okay.
Yeah.
There's a video game that's based on the same
Yes.
movie. Okay.
Yeah.
And then sucks like cancer. Roger. Yeah, well, they ran out of money.
Need that money. Need that bread.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's all that you can do. I mean, shorts are just, they really they can't justify it unless it's part of the package. It's really difficult, to justify running it. It cuts down into the number of seats that you can turn over.
Sure. Yeah.
That's basically that.
Oh, especially now today's time. Who's going to be going to the movie theaters even after this?
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if shorts are going to be. I think you're
I
going to
don't know.
see.
There haven't been shorts in a long time.
You see stuff like that on online. No.
Yes, I do, but there's no money in it.
No.
I mean, there never has been. Okay, here's the thing: those were always fillers. They're always part of. They were the perks that went along with like newspapers always had the funnies. It had the news. It had everything, and you wanted and when movies were the only visual entertainment, you wanted something for everybody.
Sure.
Now, Terry Toons in New Rochelle, they would do the Mighty Mouse and the Heckle and Jekyll cartoons. They were known for being their cartoons were so bad. That's how they got rid of people to leave the movie theaters in the 30s and 40s.
Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, that's rough. So, okay, I want to ask you just one last. We come to the hour, and I promised you 1 hour, and that's we're there. So let me ask you: are there any words of wisdom that you want to, just pass on to people who watch this video afterwards? You're a teacher.
Yes. Eat rejection for breakfast.
Okay. Have you had to tell your students that much?
Yes, because you got to have a thick skin, and people are going to tell you all sorts of things, and you're going to be rejected. You're not going to get publishing deals in the beginning. You just got to eat it for breakfast. Let it fuel you.
Okay. All right. Well, those are wise words, I really don't have anything better to say to that because I've had tons of rejection in my life. So I go along with that. But the thing about it is that if you don't take it to heart, just listen to them. If they reject you, try and understand why. And then sometimes it's not your fault. They're just an asshole.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could be simply the publisher is just it's not their style of book they can market because they know their audience.
Right.
Some publishers, they know what their readership wants, and they know, listen, I won't be able to do a good job getting this out there for you because I don't think my readers would read it.
Right.
Or they could just be a bunch of a-holes.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. That's basically it. Because nobody wanted Tarzan. Nobody wanted so many things. I think it was the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted
Dick Tracy. He was rejected. He was rejected.
Chester Gould was rejected
10 years.
10 years. That's right. But he came up with playing
New ideas every
Tracy.
time.
Yeah. And
Until finally,
going.
he came up
Yeah.
with Dick Tracy, and that's when they were like, "We'll take this."
Yes.
10
there you go.
years.
Yeah.
It's
10
a
years.
10-year journey average.
Yeah. So anyway, rejection is only permanent if it stops you.
Exactly. Very good. I like that. I got to write that down.
Okay, write it down.
I like that one.
All right. So okay, we're going to stop it now, and I want to thank everybody who has come on board here and watched our little talk, and for all of those of you who will be watching this later on, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed it, but don't forget to support Robert's In Demand.
Yes, Wirehead on Indiegogo. Yeah,
Yes.
the links I believe are in the description.
The links are in our description.
We're going to be closing out the campaign in 3 weeks. So,
Okay.
so yeah. So if you haven't backed, definitely back it. Check it out. It's going to be a really fun ride, especially if you're into slashers and sci-fi. You guys are going to love it.
Okay, that's great. And I've just launched my Kickstarter with Bloodwing Angel Chronicles. It's in the link is in the description, and I'll be doing some more videos. But anyway, until then, take care, and thanks for coming by.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.